If you have ever seen a person that has only one hard drive on their computer, however, they have multiple drive letters, that is because they have used a partition manager to cut their hard drive into different parts. A part is a partition, and each partition gets its own drive letter. By using a partition manager, you can realize several benefits for yourself. The first benefit is that you can have your operating system on one part and your data on a separate part. Usually when a hard drive fails, the part that has all your data is fine if that was in a different partition. Usually the partition that fails is whatever partition you have Windows installed on. Once in a while, Windows will just scramble your whole hard drive, and to protect your data, all you need to do is just put your data onto a different part or partition. The next benefit is in being able to have what's called a dual boot or a multi-boot setup, where you have the operating system installed on more than one part, and you can choose which partition you want to boot from. And the benefit of having that ability is that in the event that one of those partitions gets scrambled, you can still boot up and access your operating system just by using one of your backups. So essentially you're just backing up your hard drive, your operating system, in case that ever gets scrambled and becomes unusable for any reason. The partition program that I like to use, or partition manager, is Easus Partition Manager. You can get that and use it at home for free, non-commercial use, from partitiontool.com. And it has a hyphen in that URL, so it's partition-tool.com. And we're going to take a quick look at that program now, so that I can give you a tutorial on how to use it and how it works. After opening the partition manager, it will display all of the disks that it can find on your system. And here I have 3 disks which are recognized. The last one happens to be a flash disk, but these first 2 are hard drives. And you'll notice that each time I click up here, my selection down here changes. And then of course, in each of these locations I also have some information available, such as the size of the partition, the size of the drive as well, and how much, and some usage details about each partition as well. How much has been written and is used, how much space is unused and available. Most people have their hard drives set up in such a way that the entire thing is allocated. That means it's ready to be used. If you have unallocated storage, and notice what I just highlighted down here, or over here, that means that there is part of the disk which could be used, but it doesn't have a drive letter yet. And because of that, it cannot be used until I assign a drive letter to it. In the event that you decide that you don't need a drive letter anymore, you can delete that and it will become unallocated storage. If you have unallocated storage, you can right click on that and you should be able to create a new drive letter out of it. When it comes to managing your partitions, there are some caveats that you should be aware of. You'll notice that on my second disk here, I have two areas of unallocated space. Now, if I select this area, I am not able to create a partition from that. That option is grayed out. But if I go to the area at the very end, I am able to create a partition. So that means that I can't create one here. I would have to move things around a little bit. And next we're going to take a quick look at partition management. Here we have a partition which is selected. After clicking on it and selecting it, then I can move my icon, my pointer, to the edge of it, and then I can click and drag to resize it. In doing so, gets rid of that unallocated space, which was previously unusable. So that is how you can change the size of a partition. However, you'll notice I have some unallocated storage over here, and I cannot continue resizing this partition and making it larger. If I want to access this over here, I would have to move it around. Like, I can click on this adjacent partition, resize it, and then resize it again, like so. So if you want to move something across the disk, you have to always work with adjacent zones. If you are going to be installing a new operating system, then I recommend setting up some unallocated space or a drive letter which is empty and ready to be written on. There's nothing important on that drive letter, because when you install Windows, everything on that specific drive letter will get wiped. The rest of the interface for using a partition manager like this is very intuitive. So this completes your basic introduction to partition management.